this video, I'm going to share with you how to create fillable forms like this so that you can be able to edit your forms and make them very nice and professional. You can even make them to be, you can bring in protection. You can protect the forms so you may not be able to edit any part of it. And you can bring in external resources such as the IDs. You can just upload content into the same form. So at the end of it, all the users can be able to print and submit a completed form. And you can be able to have other features like the drop-down box to be able to see the list of content. And then you can be able to have the check boxes as well to be able to add more content. Okay, so let's start by opening a fresh page. Okay, so opening a fresh page of Microsoft Word. So the first thing you need to do to start creating this form is to come to anywhere within the ribbon over here, right click and just come to customize the ribbon. Okay, so once you're here, you can just come all the way to the right side, okay, where you have the customize the ribbon option over here. You can just come down here. The feature that we want to add is called developer, and you can see it over here. So we can just click on, you can just check this box of developer and just click on OK, and we will have it added in our ribbons over here. So you can see developer. Once you click on it, you can see a bunch of different features that it comes along with. But what we are going to be using for this tutorial is simply these controls. Okay, this bunch of controls, we are going to be using them in our form creation. So the first thing we need to do on our fresh page is to start by creating a header. Okay, so we can just double click anywhere outside and create a header. So we can create a header by just typing. So this is, let's say, Toastmasters registration form. So we can select everything, and then we can have the option to select everything, and we can increase the sizing, just like so. And we can bold it if you want. It's already bolded. You can change the features, the font style. Okay, we can make it Calibri or Calibri Light, anyone, according to what we have. And then we can centralize it. Maybe we can make it to be at the center. And then maybe we may want to bring in a picture, something like a logo thereabouts. So we can come from once you double click on the header, you can see the heading properties over here are out. So you can add pictures online, or you can have pictures if you have it saved within your device. So let's say I have pictures online. I want to add something online, and you can search. Maybe I want to search Toastmasters logo. And you can see it over here. Just click, for example, and just insert this. And you can see it has just inserted. And we want to reduce the sizing because right now it's so big. So we can just try to reduce the size by just dragging from the edge. And we can check the position, okay, the layout of effect over here, and we can make it to go through or in front of the text. So you can be able to just resize and put it somewhere here. And then you can see it's a good location, so you can double click back inside the form, and then you can continue with your form creation. So the first is, I usually create the form using the tables. So I can come to insert over here and come to tables. I usually go with maybe something like 4x4, which you can edit later on. You can add, you can remove, you can even remove the whole table if you want after the creation. So the first thing is I give the full name, for example, full name of applicant. You can just write full name, you can select it, and you can come back to the home, and you can bold this. You can increase the size if you want, and then you can bring it, you can change the alignment, maybe to align right, so that you can come close just like so. The next thing is we can put in the full name. So we may want to get some space over here. So we give you the space to write the full name. So the next thing is you come to your developer over here, and you can add the text. Okay, so you have two rich text content. So depending which one do you have, this is plain text and this is rich text. So for example, I may want to have rich text because it's some names can be very long. So you can just put it, and then you can adjust the sizing. For example, you can come over here and just adjust a little, and you can see it over here. So next is we have the age of the applicant. We want to have his age, and we can bold it as well, and we can center it to the right as well. So we can have his age. So over here, we can have him to input his age, or we can have range of names. Okay, we can have range or we can just allow it to just put his name, just put his age. So you can come over to the developer and just make it simple text. Okay, so you can just put his age over here. All right, so that is done. The next is we can have him to put his country of residence. All right, so you can specify the country of residence over here. So we can just add text also, so you can specify his country. And next is we can ask him to put his phone number. And the same way, we can just give him the space to add text. Next is we can have him to put his email. And we can all select this and center them to the right. And then we can bold them as well. All right, so put in your email, come back to developer and add the text. So next is we can add more cells by coming just to the edge over here and just click on this plus sign to see some more. So we can still come over here and maybe click on enter to add some more. Okay, so we can add some more cells. So the next is we may want to add reasons why you want to join Toastmasters. Reasons. So here we may have a drop down to give them an option. What is the main reason why you want to join Toastmasters? So for example, if I have, so now we can have a drop down. So we have drop down. So there are two types of drop down. One you can edit, you can put in your input if you want, and the other one you cannot put in your input. So let's start with the one that you can put in your input, which is the first one. As soon as I click, it says choose an item, and then you have to come to the properties over here. I'll just double click on properties. You don't have to touch anything here. You just come over here and just add your entries. So I said leadership, right? So you enter, and then maybe we may want to add another one. We can have public speaking, and then we can have maybe both. So maybe you are joining to learn leadership or to learn public speaking or to learn both of them. So once I click on OK, you can see now we have a drop down. So once you come to this small arrow, you just click on it. You have leadership, public speaking, and both. So you can choose anyone. Okay, you can choose anyone as an entry, and it will just stay just like so. Why this one is different is because when you come back to choose an item, you can be able to type your own. Okay, you can type your own, maybe to build confidence. Okay, so in this case, you can edit. Okay, while in the other case, for example, let's try it with the other case, years of experience. For example, let's say we drop the other one that you cannot edit. This is the drop down list of content. So we click and then we can say add content. You just come to properties as well. Don't touch anything. Just add maybe 2 to 5 years. All right. So let's say 5 to 10 years. So let's say we add the last one above 10 years. All right. So once we hit on this, you can see we have a drop down 2 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, and above 10 years. But the difference is when you are only choose an item over here, you cannot be able to write your own entry, unlike the first one, which you can have your own entry in addition to the one that you can choose from. So the next thing is, say we have to add the means of identification. So he has the option to choose from the means of identification. Is it going to be a national ID, or is it going to be a passport, or is it going to be a voter registration card? So on all these, I need you to be very specific. So I'm going to provide a checkbox by the beginning. So I'm still going to go back to my developer, and you can see the checkboxes over here. I will just click to add a checkbox before. Okay, you can see, click again to add another checkbox, and click again to add another checkbox. So whichever one you are using, you can just click to just add. Okay, so you just click and you can see it has just selected. Or if you are using both, more than one, you can click to add more. But these checkboxes, you can, the check items, you can change it by coming to properties. Once you are in the checkbox, you can come over here. You can see the check symbol over here. You can change it from this one. You can change it to another one. All right. So you can see, you can check any symbol that you want to represent the checkbox, and you can easily change it if you so wish. But I think I like this, kind of like this. So next is you can say upload ID over here. So you have the option to upload your ID. Then we'll provide the place to upload the ID. So you can come back to developer and just come into photos over here, and you can see it. So you can just try to extend it across. So once the person hit on this to add ID, you can add from a file. Okay, so assuming he uses from a file. So let's say I have this. So let's say I have this sample. I can just click on insert, and it's going to insert that ID over here. Okay. So let's say I use national ID or international passport. So I can check this, and I have the international passport uploaded over here. So next is you can add anything. Let's say we can add payment method. And payment method over here, we can have PayPal, cash, or we can have card mode of payment, and you can just choose using the drop down. The checkbox is also over here. All right, so you can just choose using any of them, and then we can have date, registration date. You can have registration date over here. So we can insert a calendar, okay, by just coming over here to the calendar tab over here. We can just click, and we can see it has just inserted the calendar, but we have to come to properties over here and choose what kind of calendar we want. So we can have, how do we want the calendar to be displayed? Okay, is it something like this or something like this? All the formats that we select is going to be displayed just like so. So we can select this one, for example, and say, okay, once we are out and we want to click to select a date, registration, you can just click on the drop down. You can see today's date is 5th. You can choose another date as to just show the format just like so. Okay, so you can just select it very easily, just like so. So next is we can add other things, like maybe we can have another item. You can have another item that maybe additional information. If you have anything you want to tell us, then we can maybe select this and maybe make it merge all the cells and make it a little bit bigger, so that you can see that if you have any other information, you can just easily bring it in. So this is how to basically do it. You can add as many content as you want. If you want to keep adding content, you can easily keep adding content. And maybe at this point, I may want to remove this box, this table. You can just select this from this plus sign. You can just double click it, and you can see the features coming out. Okay, so by just clicking, you can just come all the way over here. Once you click it, you can see the border option over here. You can just click and just come over and say no border, and everything is now gone, and you can just have your fillable forms just like so. But to make it more look like a form, you can change the type of table to make it something like this, and you can see now it's something like a table, right? Even though without a border. Okay, you can come over here and say no border, and then it kind of looks like a table, okay, like a form. So you can easily continue and just continue to fill up your details. You can select this, you can come back to home, and you can align right, and do the same for others. You can do the same, you can just align right, and you can bold them if you want as the major entries. You can bold them, you can increase their sizing or their about. Right, so once you are done with inputting the forms, and you are starting with all the content that you have, anybody can enter any details. You are certain that this is the information you require. You can just come all the way back to developer, and maybe you may want to protect this form so that the people entering the registrants, they don't have to edit any of the content. They can only fill in their detail. You can do that by coming to restrict editing over here. You just click on restrict editing, and you can say allow only this type of editing in the document. So for example, you just select this, and you come to this drop down, and you can say filling in forms only. Okay, so you just say filling in forms, and you can start enforcing that feature over here just by clicking on start, and it will pop up that you should enter a password. So you can give your password. You can put anything. Maybe I put something simple, and then we can say okay, and now it is password protected. So at any given point, if you try to edit anything, you cannot be able to edit. You can only put in the details. Okay, you can only register your name, Dr. Rashid. Can only register your name, but you cannot alter the full name description, or you can not enter this. You can only put in your country of residence, but you cannot alter the entries, okay, the main description. So you can enter everything if you want. You can add your content if you want. You can add anything. You can add even further details if you so wish. So if you want to, at any given point, have access and edit the form on your own, you can just come over here and stop the protection, and it will ask you to input that very password that you've inputted before. So you can just put 1, 2, 3, and then it's now enabled. And now you can now edit the key details just like so. You can edit the content, you can edit additional information. Maybe you can put in a bracket, if any. And maybe here you can add the same. You can come to developer, and then you can just add a long text. So once you're done, you can still restrict permission if you want. You can, yes, start enforcing protection, and the form is going to be protected just like so. So you just put the password again and it is done. So basically, this is how to create a fillable form in Microsoft Word. And if you want to remove the protection completely, you can just come over here, restrict editing. You can just remove it, and then you can continue with your work. Okay, so basically, this is how to create a fillable form using Microsoft Word. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, kindly hit the subscribe and notification buttons to stay connected to this channel for more of our very, very useful videos. I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.